Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting edition of Monday Night Live. That's right, aka the Hangout Stream, aka the Chill Stream, baby. All fired up, as usual, and ready to have some fun for April 24th, 2023. And brought to you by yours truly, the man broadcasting from behind the curtain. You know who I am. Because if you don't know by now, you can visit www.livefreeliverich.com or simply Google this name and you can find out. How we all doing tonight? Or how are you guys doing watching on the replay? Did you have a week or what? Someone in the chat? Who do we have here? Hello, good sir. Make you want to fucking fight. Jesus, Crow, look at you. Ready to knuckle up. Been watching UFC? Boxing? You like boxing? Let me see what I got for you guys tonight. All right. Tonight, you might want to go ahead and, we're going to make love, not war tonight. All right. Because tonight, you might want to go ahead and slip into something a little more comfortable because I got some sizzling hot excerpts lined up for reading time. That's right, baby. Speaking of hot, I have some hot topic discussion in regard to traditional publishing. And of course, I'll be addressing some of your comments. And I am excited to say that I have a brand new segment that I'm introducing to the Monday Night Live show. But before I get into all of that, first things first, I like to take this time and slide right inside my first segment of the night, where I like to shine a spotlight on some books. That's right. That are currently available or coming soon to an online store near you. Yes, it's true. And first up tonight, I have from the Twitter, from Michael A. Bisson, just shares a link with me to his book, apparently a co-authored book. And this is a book that he wrote, Formula 1215, by John S. Kennedy and Michael A. Bisson. I think that's a first for the live stream, a co-authored novel. What's that? You enjoy a good mosh? Hell yeah. Have you been into any mosh pits before? Not really sure if that's something I want to do. I was never really into that. Not really interested in people accidentally punching me in the mouth. I would not enjoy that. That would not make me happy. Let's put it that way. All right. How you doing tonight, by the way? You working on anything new? Got anything new on your Substack? Okay, there is the cover And here is the blurb. From laboratory experiment to psychic killer, John McBride leaves Washington, D.C. to live his life in peace, not realizing his life is in constant turmoil. Dr. Walker tries to produce an antitoxin for the monster he created, using his own son as a lab rat. When McBride returns, he has mixed feelings about the doctor, his once best friend. Their love and hate relationship fuels the fire along the way to his finding out what happened 20 years ago. 272 pages of paranormal suspense, supernatural thrillers. Skunks says here, I'm always working, even when I don't have any work. It's how I'm geared. Right now, working on an Iron Age art prompt. Oh, that's cool. Oh, yeah, I will. Yeah. The link. I always do the links in post-production. I don't set up the links ahead of time because I like to kind of have a little bit of suspense before the show in case people, they don't know what the books are going to be until I go live. But yeah, the links will be in after the show. I'll stick them in the show notes. All right, let's see what we got up next here. You excited about the Iron Age magazine? All right, this next one comes from Joanne Atcheson Gray, and just shares a link to her book. She Walked Away. I believe that's what that one's called. Hold on just a second here. So this one's Barnes & Noble link. It appears we might have some vampire fun on this one. All right, let's check it out. We got a little overview here, it seems like. It says, gazing out across these dreary gray waters as I feel the bitter, aggressive wind in my pale white face, I can't help but wonder, was it all worth it? Watching the waves crash brutally below me as I stand alone on the wet, damp rocks above. I try to imagine my life as if it were somehow different. Could I have made better choices? A different path? Seems so vague now. Seems like decades, this solitude. So many memories flooding my immortal mind. So much time has passed since that dreadful night in New Orleans. Truth does hurt sometimes. No regrets, really, for what I did, if you could call it regret, only for what I lost. Love was real, seemingly, or what I thought to be love. This is my tragedy. It's like 146 pages here. Barnes & Noble doesn't give a category, it looks like. But perhaps some paranormal, it kind of sounds like a paranormal romance, if I had to guess. Yeah, the anvil. He says, anvil? Hell yeah. I want people to have my merch poster. Oh, my mech poster. It looks way better in HD. So that was your art in the for the posters, or at least you did one of them. Cool. All right, the next one from S.A. Krishnan. It says, not a love story. So I believe this is part of the blurb here. So we'll just go ahead and skip this part in the tweet, and we'll just bring up the blurb. For Not a Love Story by S.A. Krishnan. So unlike the last novel, this one is not a love story. I'm probably going to butcher the name here. Omkar Raghav, with his sharp mind, is an excellent field agent of TTI. He was adept at solving the cases of the Tactical Training and Infiltration Agency, an intelligence agency with its headquarters in the city of Stapan. On a personal front, Omkar knows why he gave up on his relationship with Vani Srivastav and does not tell anyone about it. A year later, now with his wife, Kritika Karan, things are not the same for Umkar. It does not help that he has to solve a difficult case with his personal life in tatters. An intense mystery romance. Formerly published as Live Once, Die Twice. 215 pages of crime, action, fiction, crime, action, adventure, romance, collections, and anthologies. Diggs, no diggity, no doubt. Hey, what's up, G? What's popping? What's popping with you tonight? You good in the hood or what? That's the impression I was under. I'm reading it and I'm like, now wait a minute. Something's not lining up here. No way, it's not a love story. I won't be fooled. Yeah. That's exactly what it sounded like, actually. All right, we got one more book. We got one more book here. We got one more. Let's check it out. This is from Turtle Rocket Books. Okay, he says, drop a, is it GIF, you guys, or is it GIF? You tell me in the comments down below. I say it's short. The first is graphic, right? Is the word. So it'd be a hard R. Wouldn't it be a hard R? Wait, a hard G is what I meant. Drop a GIF, it would be then, right? Drop a GIF of your favorite superhero for a free Kindle copy of Working Class Superheroes, US only. A group of superheroes becomes suspicious of their most powerful member. An entire trilogy also available for paperback and audiobook. So let's check this out. Sounds kind of intriguing. This is called Working Class Superheroes, by Chad Descoteaux. Working class. Got them blue collar guys. Those blue collar superheroes. Okay, let's see what we got here. Let's see what we're working with. All right. We got two superheroes become suspicious of their city's most powerful hero, the seemingly invulnerable Magma Man, when something he says during a poker game doesn't add up. Why would he lie? Was he trying to protect someone? Was he drunk? Okay, he was probably drunk, but is he in league with the villain? Is he the villain? And if he is, how can he be stopped? Follow Speed Chicken and Cambio as they pursue the answers to these questions, putting them in cahoots with a powerless wannabe superhero named Wombat, and realize that the fate of an entire planet weighs in the balance. A comedic sci-fi adventure and the author's personal love letter to the superhero genre as a whole. It sounds like it could be a fun one, depending on how the plot plays out. You don't get a whole hell of a lot in that blurb. It seems pretty vague. And I notice a big trend. I've been reading a lot of these blurbs, and a big trend in blurbs is having these rhetorical questions in the blurb itself. I've definitely noticed that after reading, well over 100, hundreds, I should say, of these blurbs. Anyways, 132 pages of superhero fantasy, superhero science fiction. Not a long read, a quick one. And like I said, it sounds like it could be fun. Different. Definitely different. I'll give it that much. Don't get a lot of comedy. Definitely don't get a lot of comedy. It had some, but not a lot. You say it with a hard G as well. Well, those are the books for this week, ladies and gentlemen. So if you're watching this on the replay, you can head on over to my community tab. It'll probably be there. Usually right after the stream, I do all my post-production stuff, and I should put up the poll so you can cast your vote. You can cast your vote for which one out of those 4 books you thought had the most text appeal. So in other words, which one out of those 4 books would you be most likely to pick? That's right. And if you would like to discover more from the independent market, what you can do is you can head on over to my shorts tab or my playlist tab, and you can open yourself up some mystery packs. Inside each mystery pack, there is one cover card which reveals a book that has been recognized by the Live Free Leverage Network and comes from the independent market. And there's also one editorial link on that book in the description section, written by yours truly. So now, speaking of reviews, though, now I'd like to take this time and introduce my newest segment to the show. Got this idea through the week. During the week, there were some new posts on a Discord server that I host, and it kind of gave me the idea that maybe I could incorporate this into the show as like a kind of like a regular thing or as need be. And tonight, I'm proud to introduce the Reader's Review. That's right. So far, what I've been doing is I've been kind of raising awareness for various projects from around the underground scene. But the thing about it is that's only one side of the coin. All right. And the thing is, without readers, the indie scene is nothing more than just authors and publishers advertising their products to potential customers. All right. And as I've said before, that's not culture. Okay. That's sales. That's marketing. That's just business. That's all that is. That's not culture. We got to have 2 sides to this coin in order for there to be a culture. So that's what I really want to do with this. So what I'd like to do with this segment is just kind of like recognize, the individuals who are not only paying attention to what's going on out here, but also putting in. So it's recognizing the individuals who are not only paying attention to independent publishing, but are actually taking the time to literally acknowledge the efforts of these authors involved within the underground scene. So in the form of written reviews. Okay, so these are people that they're not sitting on their hands. They're actually reading these books, and they're actually taking the time to think about it, think about the material, reflect upon the material, and leave a written review. That's huge. Okay. More on that, in another, perhaps on another topic later on. But I want to stick to this, introducing this particular segment. So there's 2 ways that people can contribute to this segment, this new segment. Okay. So one is a reader themselves. So for you readers out there, okay, I want to highlight you guys. This is what this segment is all about, but there's 2 ways to contribute. So one is a reader can reach out to me, share a link. They can share a link to a review that they wrote on a third-party platform. So I'm talking like this could be an Instagram, like a hashtag, like Bookstagram type post, okay? Or This could be on like a platform website, like a good example would be Goodreads. Okay, so if you leave reviews on Goodreads, okay, this isn't like you writing an editorial on your blog. Now, that's something different. That's usually a little bit longer. It's more of an analysis, a lengthier kind of like an analysis, opinion piece, that sort of thing. I already have a segment for that. That's reading time. And I've mentioned before that I will read editorials and critiques posted on people's blogs during reading time. But this is just a special little segment just for the readers who may not have a blog, but they still read books and they leave reviews. Okay. So another way, and like I say, so these are just like more short form reviews. So whether it be a social media post or on your Goodreads. All right. And this can be, and don't worry about it, doesn't have to be positive. Okay. This can be a positive or a negative. You're just sharing your experience with a book. That's what I want most of all. I want you to share your authentic experience with a book. Don't worry about whether or not it comes across as positive or if it comes across as negative. Okay. You don't have to worry about that. Okay. I just want honesty, authentic review. Okay. You think of it as you're not just sharing your review, you're just sharing your reader experience with a book. Has nothing to do with the author. It's your reader experience with a book, the book. All right. And you're leaving a review on that as if you were leaving a review on a product. Okay. That's what I want. So another way is an author, you indie authors out there. Okay. You can share reader reviews with me as well. So an author can share a review from one of their own books that they think is worth mentioning. Okay. So if you have had a reader, someone leave a review on one of your books that, for it and, again, whether you consider it positive, negative, it's just interesting, or they had an interesting outlook on it. They had something interesting to say about it, or, or the way that they gave the review was interesting, or what have you. You think it's worth mentioning, and you think that individual needs to be highlighted, deserves to be highlighted in some shape, fashion, or form. This is it right here. That's what this segment is about. Okay. And that's what I want to do here. Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure. If there isn't readers, and I want to get into that topic at another time, but let's just put it like this. All authors are readers, but not all readers are authors. So with this, I want to try to bring both readers and authors together in this way. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to get into my opinions, because this isn't about my opinions. This is about a 5-star review of Christopher Magnus's The Intergalactic Information Superhighway. And this comes from, it's not coming from him. This is from the author sharing a review that came from Ivan Apostolovic via his Goodreads. So let me see what we have here. I don't know exactly how I'm going to do this for every website, but as of right now, what I'll do is I'll just put up the book cover, I suppose. I'll put up the book cover for the novel, and I'll just read the review directly off the website. And then what I'm going to do in post-production is I'm going to leave a link directly to that post. So if you guys are interested in seeing other books that Ivan has reviewed or anything like that, it's there. All right. And it's actually a book that has been mentioned on the live stream before. So let's see. All right. So Ivan writes, this is one fantastic space opera, full of twists, unexpected situations, and unconventional solutions. In a strange way, Xantarth manages to satisfy the interests of various interested parties. He manages to present himself in the best light, affirming the value of a true captain who always puts tasks in front of him, regardless of the cost to achieve them. In addition to all the experiences, he reaches the highest values of peace, prosperity, and affirms the well-deserved rest and enjoyment in the new situation. There is also room for the next sequel because at the very end, an evil entity wakes up that can take over the plot and restart all the heroes of the universe and create new actions. A book worthy of a bestseller that affirms true science fiction. I strongly recommend everyone to read it because it really deserves your attention. And that is the writings of a 5-star review from Ivan Apostolovic. So you guys let me know what you think of this segment. I'm only going to do the one. Okay. I won't, in other words, I'm not going to do, I think this would be a good segment for following up with the books segment. So every show, if you know, I always open up with showing off 4 books from the independent market. Okay. And I think that this would be a nice little follow-up segment for that. So you guys get in on this while the getting's good, I suppose, and start filling up the queue with some of your reader reviews. All right. And let's start highlighting these people. Start championing these people who are actually reading the books. Okay. They're actually reading the books, giving these books a chance. These are the people that, I think deserve some attention. You want to talk about books deserving attention, that's great. But if the indie scene is going to there's going to be any kind of actual culture in this scene, it's going to require people to actually make content and write about these books. All right. Or else, like I said, it's just going to be a bunch of publishers and authors who are just saturating the market with products. Okay. Looking for potential customers. Okay. So with that being said, I'm going to set up the next. Who's this guy on Rumble? Meme Savage Re. Shalom Goyim. How you doing? You doing all right? You like that? Yeah, I thought it was cool. I want to do like a big part of this has been, showcasing and raising awareness for artists, but there also needs to be people who are actually appreciating the art. People who appreciate the arts are, just as important, I think, in terms of if we're talking cultural significance. But I'm not going to go into a diatribe, though. But I just thought it was cool, and I want to try it out. I'd like to do it. I like the idea of it, at least, and we'll see how it goes. So just yeah. And do you? So I do. I do my own thing where I write editorials on books, and that's through my blog. And but I also leave Goodreads reviews. I don't. I haven't left Amazon reviews. I don't know. I'm just very cautious about leaving reviews on Amazon because there's always this thing where you could get like you could I feel like I'm just afraid of like accidentally getting into some sort of like conflict of interest situation. And Amazon is Amazon as far as that goes when it comes to that sort of conflict of interest type stuff. So, I don't want to like, I feel like if I leave a review on somebody's book and then it turns around and then, they happen to leave a review on one of my books or something, and then Amazon picks, I don't know. But I do Goodreads though. And Goodreads, just a little tip for you guys. If you do Goodreads and you have a blog, so like what I do with my blogs, I do long form, well, what I call long form, but I do over 1,000 words per editorial. And I kind of break down a novel that I'll read into 3 subcategories. And then I write something up, for each subcategory on that novel. And then I'll give it a rating. I'll give it my own in-house rating, if you will. But I also do Goodreads as well. And Goodreads, if you have your own blog and you do editorials like that, like long form editorials, you can then turn around and you could do a rating and review, post a rating and review on Goodreads. But what you can do is you can actually leave a link to your blog post in your Goodreads review. So that's kind of what I do. I do editorial on my blog, and then I do kind of a short form, non-spoiler type of review on Goodreads, but I'll leave a link so people can read the full breakdown on the book on my blog. So it's kind of works like you're leaving a review and a rating, but at the same time, you're also kind of juicing your blog as well. And, it may drive some extra traffic to it. But let's see, where can you guys share these links with me? The first place, let's talk about some announcements real quick. All right. The general housekeeping. Just some general housekeeping this week. Nothing too long, nothing too major. Where can you guys share these links with me? Well, I have Gilded and Discord group servers set up for you guys. All right. The links to these are always in the show notes down below, like right near the top of the beginning of the show notes. So just do yourself a favor and join either the Gilded, the Discord. You can join them both if you want. And I have all the channels already set up to where you can share your books. You can share videos with me. You can share posts from your website or your blogs with me, crowdfunding, campaigns, book clubs, reading events, all that type of stuff I have set up. And I just added one for the reader reviews that you can share with me. And like I say, there's no expectations of you when you join these servers. So you can join the server and just use it as a resource to keep me on the up and up with what's going on with you and your projects, because I like to plan these shows out ahead of time. So I can just log on there, see who's sharing what, and then I can just set up my shows ahead of time based on the links that you guys are sharing with me. Now, I ask that you guys come to me and share the links, because it's not a good use of my time, for one, to go around person to person to person to person going, hey, do you mind if I share this on my show? Do you mind? And then waiting to hear back from them and yada, yada, yada. No. All I ask is that you guys come to me and you share your links. That's all I ask. You don't have to engage in small talk. You don't have to check in daily. You don't have to friend me on Facebook. I don't expect any of that shit. It's neither here nor there to me. Okay. I'm just saying, share your links with me so I can continue to do these shows and talk about you guys' projects. All right. And that's what this whole thing is about. And it also doubles as like you giving me permission. Okay, that's a me thing. That's a me thing. It's not only knowing that, you know, I have your blessing, if you will, to share your work on my show and talk about it. But it also counts as engagement, because that's a big reason why I started this, is because I want to raise awareness for the artists that are out here who are willing to get engaged, the people who are proactive in the scene. Those are the people I want to pay attention to. Those are the people that I want to raise awareness for. Those are the people that I want to care about. Okay. I'm not so if you're sitting on your hands thinking that I'm going to come around to you, don't hold your breath. Okay. You need to come to me. That's how this works. Okay. Like I say, it's permission and it's showing me that you're proactive. That's what I want to see. Moving right along, talking about being proactive here. The Storytellers Society. The Storytellers Society is still accepting open submissions. Yes, the Storytellers Society. This is a project that I launched on the eve of 2022. This is a public collaborative project, kind of an outreach program that I launched for my peers in the writing community. So for those of you who are looking to, this could be people who are aspiring authors and you've yet to have any of your work published. Or this could be for published authors who are looking to expand their creative portfolio. You can check out the Storyteller Society. It's right on the website. And I'm looking for flash fiction. Okay, so this is fiction for this project that is between 500 to 2,000 words. All right, and it could be any genre. The way that I'm marketing this is that it can be any genre. Any genre works. There's no prompts. It's just whatever you wish to submit. And if your work is approved, then you will effectively book yourself a room at what I've dubbed the Hotel del SS, where all the members of the Storytellers Society stay. And that's where all your contributions will be listed. You can include a author bio as well. And this is something, once you've submitted a piece of work and it's approved, your job is done at that point. And this is something that I continue to market on a weekly basis. All right. Just another way of getting your name out there and building a peer-to-peer relationship with yours truly, if you will. So this is a public project, like I say, so it's free for viewing. This isn't something that I make money off of. Okay, you guys? So this is just literally a collaborative project. This is art for art's sake, if you will. Just artists coming together and kind of synergizing, if you will. Or something else. Oh, yeah. So this is a non-exclusive. So since this isn't a commercial product, all right, this is just hosted through my blog. There's no contracts involved. This is a non-exclusive agreement. So you're just agreeing to the terms of service. So what it means is that you are giving me license to republish or publish whatever it is that you submit to this project. And I say that it's a non-exclusive agreement, meaning that you're not giving me exclusive rights in any shape, fashion, or form. You retain copyright of your work, and this could be work that you actually have published somewhere else. So there's no exclusive licensing that you're agreeing to or anything like that. Moving right along. Of course, if you want to stay on the up and up with what I got going on, you can go ahead and subscribe to Live Free, Live Rich Weekly. This is my weekly newsletter. I send exactly one newsletter out each week on Saturdays. So you head over to livefreeliverich.com. Right on the homepage is where you can subscribe to the newsletter. Why would you want to subscribe to the newsletter? Well, it's going to give you all the pertinent links for that week, whether it be the live streams, video content, new articles and updates. It's not just with the network. It's not just with Live Free, Live Rich Entertainment. It's the whole Live Free, Live Rich brand. I'm going to keep you on the up and up with what's going on. Okay, so with the whole brand. So you can subscribe to that. And I'm also thinking about doing some exclusive types of giveaways and stuff like that in the future. So, maybe that would be extra incentive to want to, stay in touch. And that's it for announcements. Short, sweet, to the point this week. Making good time. We're closing in on 1 hour. This is going to be a short show tonight, I have to say. So let's move right into some reading time. Reading time. This can be your poetry. This can be your flash fiction hosted on your own blog, or this could be something that you've written on a third-party website like medium.com, Royal Roads, Wattpad, any of those. Like I say, it can also be articles, essays, editorials. And tonight, I have some excerpts from Melly Miller. She says, hello, I write paranormal fantasy romance. You can find all my links and some excerpts at my site, mellymiller.com. And that's what we're going to check out. I'm going to kind of browse. I'm going to take this time to browse. And this is, I'm going to read maybe more than one. I'm going to read some excerpts from the Gambler's Folly series by Melly Miller via mellymiller.com. You like that name? It does roll off the tongue, I have to say. Let's get into some spice. I wonder how spicy it is. I didn't really browse it ahead of time. I mean, I looked through the titles and then I was like, oh, that one sounds cool because I'm into poker. So I'm like, all right, the Gambler's Folly. That sounds interesting. That sounds like it could be interesting. I don't know what I'm getting myself into here, but hey, this show's not meant for children. So I guess I'll find out. All right, we have people embracing on the cover. Let's check it out. This is the Gambler's Folly series. This first excerpt comes from book 1, no subtitles, just Gambler's Folly, book 1 by Melly Miller. Carrie Ann brushed her dark brown hair as she tried to decide what to do. She was angry, green eyes snapping at her reflection in the mirror. She had been promised a vacation, someplace exotic, 2 weeks just for the two of them, hoping for a nice, romantic getaway. In her heart of hearts, she knew she would be disappointed. With one last shred of hope, she'd agree to a vacation, and they'd wound up here, the gambling center of the star system. Of course, it was paradise for Trey. He lived to gamble. He would bet on anything and usually lost. Uh-oh. Heaven only knew what he would lose this go round. She dreamed, like all girls, of something strong, handsome, and mysterious. Someone who took your breath away. And like most of the women she knew, she'd eventually realized she would never meet Prince Charming and settled for what she could find. Trey. Oh, poor Trey. He's the settle guy. Beta! At least she was married. And that's what counted, right? Oh my God. That just wants a ring on it and that's it? Poor husband. Ugh. All right. Trey wasn't breathtakingly handsome, but he wasn't bad. There was no mystery or romance. Their sex life was nearly non-existent anymore. She was frustrated at every turn. Why couldn't she have met a real man's man and been swept off her feet? Or at least have met someone who cared for her more than he did a deck of cards. Attacking her hair with the brush, hot tears filling her eyes. Her disappointment was overwhelming. Oh, a poor cupcake. Why had she believed his lies once again? She had spent all but their first day here alone, and there was over a week left before returning home. Today, she'd gone swimming and then taken a trip to the spa to get her nails done. What the hell? He was losing it all anyway, so she had a pedicure to go with it. No, what the hell? What the hell? He was losing it all anyway, so she had a pedicure to go with it. Lunch was dismal, as she sat alone, picking over the elegant meal included in the vacation package. Later in the afternoon, she'd taken a nap and awakened with the uneasy feeling that something was very wrong. Trey wasn't back yet, and it was past time for dinner. Where was he? She slammed the brush down on the dressing table and dried her eyes as anger overcame disappointment. Wondering what to do, she heard the sound of his key card in the lock. Where in the hell? She began as Trey entered the room, followed by two well-built men in expensively tailored suits. Trey, what's going on? Who are these guys? Hi, sweetheart. These men are associates of Mr. Leone. They've come to take you to him. Take me to Mr. Leone? The biggest mob boss on the planet? Yeah. I kind of lost a bet. Sorry. You lost a bet? What kind of bet? What have you done, Trey O'Brien? Well, you won't have to worry about the house anymore, or the car, or really anything. I lost all of it. Then, in order to get out from under that and $1 million in debt, he insisted I put you on the table, as it were. Win or lose, one hand and all my debts were gone. Just if I lost, he got you. And I lost. Sorry. Sorry? Sorry? You're more than sorry, Trey. What the hell? She shouted as one of the impeccably dressed men took her arm. Come along, Miss O'Brien. Mr. Leone is waiting. I'm not going anywhere with you. Get your hands off of me. As she struggled with one man, the other one found her purse and checked for her passports and papers. Speaking into what must have been a wrist communicator, man number 2 said, "We have the lady. Mr. O'Brien will be right down to sign the papers." Papers? What papers, Trey? The older of the 2 men smiled and said, "The one signing away his rights to you, love. Come along." This is property. Trey! Downstairs, watching her husband sign away his debts, Carrie Ann was numb. How could this even be legal? Did it matter what you were dealing with the mob? Pushing the signed papers across the table, Trey said, "Well, that's that, I guess. You sure we're good?" I mean, did he really lose? If that's what did he lose? It doesn't sound like he lost. Mr. Leone was very clear about it. One hand, win or lose, all debts forgiven. "What about me?" Carrie asked in shock. "What am I supposed to do?" The man in the shadows was quiet for a moment and then said, "Go ahead and take her downstairs to one of the special guest rooms. Mr. Leone will see her there and decide what to do with her." Oh, wow. What's he going to do with her? Very nice. Let's read another one, shall we? Dante's Angel. This comes from Gambler's Folly, Book 2. That was fun. All right. I don't know if these are like standalones or what. So let's just check out the excerpt. Maybe we can figure it out and see if these are like standalones. Maybe if Melly sees this, she can clue me in. Or we can find out. She let her mind drift along as she walked, enchanted by the ancient olive trees. As a child, she had loved to come out here and climb around on the branches, earning her a scolding from everyone in the family. It was such a magical place, though, and up in the trees she could be anyone or anything she could imagine. Reaching up to one of the smaller branches, she grabbed hold and swung around the corner from one path to the next, and she collided with the arrogant prick who was the reason for her walk. "What the hell are you doing?" she demanded. I should be the one to ask that question. I am only walking, not swinging from the trees like a lunatic. Lunatic? Had he called her a lunatic? "What did you call me?" "A lunatic." If your memory needs refreshing. I hadn't realized the Grove was such a dangerous place. It seemed such a quiet place to walk and reflect. If I'd understood the dangers, I would have gone out to play in the street. "You are the rudest person it has ever been my displeasure to meet," she answered. "You're welcome," Dante said, with a hint of sarcasm. "Such a pretty mouth. Does it taste as bitter as the words that come out of it?" What was going on with his mouth this evening? Every time it opened, it dug him in deeper. With her hands on her hips, she glared at him, mouth gaping open and trying to find something to say. All right. He was dead. He should do them all a favor and shoot himself. "I hope you had no thought of finding out," she finally said. "You can't possibly believe I'd let you kiss me." His eyes swept from her toes to the top of her head before he looked her in the eye again. He was surprised to see her cheeks flush. Thinking about kissing her sweet little mouth brought a smile to his face. "I love a challenge. I was going to walk for a while longer. Which way are you going?" so I can avoid your acrobatic displays. You are a bastard, Dante Bonfiglio, and you definitely do not live up to the family. Depends on what makes you a good son of the family. For all you know, I could be the most upstanding of the lot. As she stood there, stammering and stuttering for something to say, he reached over, looped her arm through his, and turned down the path. She was so startled she didn't even object. The top of her head barely reached his shoulder when he stood up straight, as he'd been trying to do since talking with Paulo. And her secret was and her scent was exotic, like honey, vanilla, and white musk, with hints of nicotiana flowers in the evening sun. What are you doing? She demanded. Taking a stroll through the olive grove, Signorina. Why are you dragging me with you? Dragging you? Your arm is through mine. You can leave at any time. I'm not holding you. Yet, he thought, all those luscious curves would be delightful pressed against him, with his arms around her, holding her tight. What was it about her? They argued over the stupidest things, but she drew him to her as if by magic. Was Damiano right? Was this gorgeous creature meant to be his mate? It sounds like we got different characters going on here. Yep. I like this one. She got a purty mouth. All right, we're slightly over an hour here. Let's do one more. This is the third one out of this little trilogy here. This one's entitled The Russian. All right. Danielle was scared. While walking the same route she did every night, several gang members surrounded her in this dark part of town. She'd always been concerned coming this way, but she had no choice without walking 3 times farther to avoid it. What have we got here? The obvious leader of the group sneered. Aren't you kind of little to be out on your own? She was small, scarcely over 5 feet tall, but she felt even smaller now as they slowly closed in on her. She thought she'd seen someone in the shadows, but a second glance showed nothing. Pity. When strong, warm hands came to rest on her shoulders, she assumed the worst. Her mouth went dry and her knees nearly folded. She knew she was dead. Disperse. The woman is none of your concern, she heard behind her. Who the hell are you? And what do you think you can do? There are 5 of us and only 1 of you. Go your way. The woman is none of your concern. A tense silence followed for a few seconds before the leader of the group laughed and spoke again. Sure, man. Sorry. The entire group turned and retreated up the street. As she watched them leave, the shakes began. Turning to thank her savior, her nose caught the scent of woodsy loam and spicy autumn leaves, overlaid with hints of dark musk and tobacco. For a moment, her head spun as she caught her breath. Are you all right? The deep voice asked. Did they hurt you? No, I'm fine. Just scared, she answered, as she looked up into eyes as cold and blue as ice on a wintry lake. Eyes which seemed to pierce her soul held her captive. Where were you going? He asked. I'm on my way home. Thank you for your help. I don't know what I would have done if you hadn't stepped in. It's part of my job, rescuing maidens in distress. I'll walk with you and make sure you arrive safely. My lady, tips his fedora. The smile was warm, though it didn't melt the ice in those eyes. What did you do? He was right, you know. There were 5 of them. What did you do? He was right, you know. There were 5 of them. Some questions it is better not to ask, he answered. They walked quietly toward her small apartment, her arm through his. Honestly, she doubted she could have made it on her own. Her knees still shook and her legs felt like rubber. At her door, he asked, "Will you be all right? Is there someone else you can call?" "No, there is no one. Thank you for your help and your time. I'm sure you had better things to do." His eyes held hers, and she had the sudden urge to kiss this man. He must have had similar thoughts as he reached toward her and traced her face with one finger. By mutual consent, they leaned together for the kiss she had to have. It should have been a quick parting kiss, but between his scent and his taste, she was lost. Apricots in brandy with a hint of cardamom lingered as they parted. The look in his eyes matched what she felt. "I'm sorry," he said. "I've taken liberties. I don't know how that happened. I never do this." "Neither do I," she replied. "I don't even know your name." "I'm called Dmitri," he said. Her eyes focused on his mouth, wanting another kiss. "I'm Danielle. Danny to my friends." "Danny. I like it." "Are you going to be on Gambler's Folly very long?" she asked. "No, I'm here for work." "Can I see you again?" she asked this man who had just saved her from rape and possibly death. "I doubt I will have the time. Let me see you go into your apartment before I leave." "Goodbye, Dmitri." "And to you, Danny, my little flower," he answered with a sad smile. A sad, sorry smile, apparently. If it hadn't been for her scent, he would have been fine. Really like scents, really like smelling things in this one. Let me get a sniff. Just a sniff. A quick whiff and I'm out of here. Lilacs. Yes. If it hadn't been for her scent, he would have been fine. Lilacs with honeyed vanilla and white musk had wrapped around him softly. Hazel eyes under blonde curls had drawn him in. He'd thought, after all this time, he had control over his urges. What had possessed him to kiss her? Her mouth now, there was a treat. Her mouth now, there was a treat. Fresh raspberries and sweet white wine still teased his palate. Between her scent and her taste, he was one messed up wolf. He wanted to run through the forest, roll in the leaves, and howl to his packmates about this delicious female he'd met. No, he wouldn't see her again. He didn't need a relationship. Life around him was too uncertain. Besides, He'd had a mate long ago, and when she died, she'd taken his heart to her grave. He was here for a job. He had no time for females. Au contraire, mon frère, I believe, is the phrase we're all thinking here. I think we all know how that one's going to end. Purty smell. Yeah, she's got a purty smell, all right. And he's got her scent on his nose. That's for damn show. Well, thanks for sharing that, Melly. A little spice there. That is reading time. No videos this week. No one shared any videos with me, so no videos. But if you want to share videos, what I have is a little segment called Featured Media. Okay, so Featured Media, how I was talking about before with readers' reviews. I just wanted to bring that up again with the readers' reviews. The readers' review segment is for written reviews specifically. Okay, if you have a book, however, if you have a Booktube channel that you run and you do like you upload video book reviews, then you can actually submit those. And what I'll do is I'll play those during this segment right here. So the feature, like for featured media, along with any other types of videos that you may have. So if you have like you do your own reading, like you read your own flash fiction, or if you read your own poetry, or if you do video essays or like writing tips type videos or advice type videos, I'll check those out as well. And sometimes if it's like an artsy type video, like I might give like my first impressions or give a little commentary if it's like an essay or something, or I might chime in on the conversation if that's what you're doing in your video. Okay. So if you guys want to share some videos with me, the queue is wide open. So if you share a video with me now, if you're the first person to share a video with me now, then it will be featured in next week's show, okay? Also, book trailers. So if you have like book trailers for any of your books, that's also something I'll check out. All right. Now let's get into a staple of the Monday Night Live show. That is a little segment that I like to call Hot Topic for Content Creators. Yes, hot topic for content creators. This is where I pitch a hot topic to you guys, and then you guys turn around and create your own content on said topic. And if you tag me in your video or share the link with me, then I may feature your video during a future live stream. Or else you're always welcome to go ahead and leave your thoughts down below or revisit any of my previously pitched hot topic videos and put some comments down in the comment section over there, coming at it from any angle or subject that you would wish to tackle that topic on as we kind of continue to embroider all of these topics. All right. So you can watch the videos in any order. It doesn't matter. Okay. Just know that part one of every topic is the initial pitch, but every video after which could be coming at that topic from various different subjects and angles. So for today, we're just going to do a short one. All right. It's just going to be some comments that I respond to. And this is for a previously pitched topic. Is traditional publishing obsolete? Okay. And that is the prompt for this hot topic. And I do have a comment to address. So let's get that ready right now. All right. Had a couple comments. And this comes from, is trad pub obsolete? And this is part 11, believe it or not. We're up to part 11 on this ongoing conversation. So I'd have one person from Strange Mentality Paper, just says laugh out loud. Not really sure. No context given on that whatsoever. But I appreciate the comment. Appreciate you stopping by the channel. If you want to elaborate on that, feel free. And also from Herman P. Hunter, author Herman P. Hunter. He's no stranger to this channel. He says, it's interesting that you mentioned YouTube Shorts. Yes, so in this part, I was talking a little bit about short form media, basically going on a rant about it, how I think it's trash and effectively kryptonite for critical thinking. But let's go on, see what Herman has to say. Says, it's interesting that you mentioned YouTube Shorts. When I did my teaser trailer for The Wizard Stone, I created a short and a standard YouTube video, as the trailer was 1 minute in length. The short racked up 152 views in a relatively short period of time. The standard trailer, so the widescreen, topped out with, I believe, 45 views in the same period. Because I still use the trailer and because people still hit that video, it's up to about 88 views right now. So keeping it real right now with these stats. He says the dramatic difference is retention, however. The short had an average view length of 16 seconds, mind you, of a 1 minute trailer, and an average percentage viewed of about 27%. The normal video, it had a view length of 40 seconds and an average percentage viewed of 67%. A major difference for the same exact video. That is interesting. Either the attention span of the average shorts viewer is mighty short, or people wanting to view a book trailer just prefer the widescreen format. I'm not sure. However, one thing is for sure, I'm never running another short again. As for TikTok, I paid a $5 promoter to run The Revenant and the Tomb trailer video over there. The video there has 58 views. Over on TikTok, the last time I checked, it racked up 5,660 views. 12 likes and 0 sales. And 0 sales. I wonder how you check that metric, though. Maybe if I wrote YA, it'd be different. But 0 sales with that many views means that place is a wasteland for someone like me. I get better results with a Facebook ad. And then he leaves some links to the videos in question here. You can check out. I believe these are, so he's showing his YouTube, which we've checked out. Both The Revenant and the Tomb and the Wizard Stones before. But you guys can check that out. If you want to review that, it's on that video. Is Trad Pub obsolete? Part 11. Leaves his links. And so as this pertains to Trad Pub now, I just thought I'm glad that he brought up the short form. And that's just the thing with the popularity of the short form media. So that brings me to today's kind of subject as it pertains to this topic. And that is where I'm wondering if a lot of these like indie authors out here, because you know they have like the book talk. Book talk is a thing. And I feel like there's in that video, I was addressing a comment left by Ian Kirkpatrick where she was brought up the Light Lark thing, the Light Lark novel, and how that the author of that book basically got a book deal because of their popularity in the book talk sphere. Which leads me to wonder, are a lot of these indie authors out here just looking for like the overnight, just basically like, it's almost like there's like you heard of like the right to market type thing. So is there like this trend of like in the book talk sphere? I don't know, because I don't use TikTok, but is there a trend in this book talk sphere where there's just basically a bunch of like fly by night indie authors out there that are doing right to market books, that do like marketable tropes, that then go viral on TikTok just so they can turn around and sell out to like one of the big trad pubs? Because I feel like that's what the traditional publishers are kind of angling right now, because it's no secret anymore that traditional publishing deals often require the person that they're signing to have somewhat of a social media following, or else they're just, it may not be something that they say overtly or explicitly, but it's certainly implied, and it's been implied for a while now. I don't know. There are some people that on Booktube that claim they come from the industry. I'm not going to name names, but I've watched some, and it's nobody that I've worked with before or have praised before. It's no one that I've actually like interacted with on the channel or talked to before. But I'm talking like these are just people that I've watched their videos or seen what they had to say. And I don't know. I kind of call bullshit on that, because I think that the industry is not stupid. It's a corporation and they run it like such. It's a business, and they're out to make money. They want a return on their investment. So they're looking at these authors as investments. And I feel like that might be the current angle of traditional publishing. And in one way, basically how they're maybe holding on to the market, or where they're trying to get a foothold in the market, is basically like trying to make it so like indie authors are competing within this online social space, right? I mean, it's competition in a sense that like, yeah, I mean, marketing is difficult for everybody, but that's just a given. Marketing is just difficult across the board, but it doesn't have to. It's not that you're in competition with anyone in particular. It's just that you're just marketing. You're trying to do what you can to market your own work. But I feel like the whole social media thing, the whole social media craze, it makes it, the way that these platforms are set up is it's almost like a brainwashing thing with how they put the numbers and the likes and the view count up front and center. So basically like right up front or right under the video, so everyone can see the amount of views, everyone can see like the amount of likes and this and that. And I know on YouTube you can turn that stuff off if you want, but now like with Twitter, I know maybe you can't do that with TikTok or Instagram and stuff like that. It just makes it so like I feel like people are out here and they're just doing, I don't know. I almost feel like it has like an effect on the market itself. You see what I'm saying? The kind of the point that I'm trying to get at here. It's like people are almost like it's like almost convincing, because for me, the indie scene is about artists. It's a place, the underground scene is where artists dwell, not, salesmen, businessmen, that nature. Like that's where art thrives, is in the underground scene. You go to the underground scene because you want to get the stuff that you can't see from the mainstream, or you're not going to get from the mainstream. But then what's happening here is I feel like, with this with viral social posts, it's like you get these indie authors, these fly-by-night indie authors coming out of nowhere, with their right to market trope fiction, and they're getting scooped up by trad pub. So it's almost like the trad pub. That's why I feel like it's good for this topic, because what it implies is that TradPub isn't going anywhere. It's just that they're kind of switching up their strategy. So before, it would be you'd send query letters. I see you stopping in. Speak of the devil. I'm just responded to your comment that you left on the TradPub, and we're talking about it with the short form media. So here's my angle on it: is that I feel like the TradPub companies, traditional publishers, they are watching these social media companies. They're watching all these the TikToks, the Instagrams, the Twitter. And they're looking for things that are going viral. They're looking for these little like e-celebs, cyber fame, these people who are like blowing up on the social media. And I feel like that might be one of their new strategies, because they have the means. And when I say they have the means, that just means they have the cheddar, and just say, hey, how would you like, maybe offer these people a deal that, an amount of money that they've never had in one foul swoop before, which could just be a 5-figure deal. They offer them a little 5-figure deal. Say, hey, how would you like a $20,000 advance for a publishing deal, And then these indies that are, engaging in these spaces, they jump at that. Now, I'm not casting aspersions, 20,000 might be a big deal for a lot of people, and they might want to jump on that. But what I'm saying is, it's almost as if these like once that story, the Light Lark was the example, once those type of like Cinderella stories go out there, I think it influences the scene. And then next thing you know, you got all these writers coming out of the woodwork and wanting to write these, really tropey type of works. You know what I mean? And they just want to flood the TikTok. They want to flood all the short form media. And I say, whatever. You do whatever you want to do. And again, that's another reason why I'm not into the short form media stuff. It's a lot of stuff that seems to get pushed in the algorithms are those kind of like girly pop type books, you know what I mean? The girly literature type stuff, the Booktube chick lit type stuff, and not interested. So I don't know. What do you guys think? This is kind of an off the cuff kind of subject. Not a whole hell of a lot. I'm not really 100% sure where I'm kind of going with this. I mean, what do you think? Do you think this is a new strategy of TradPub? Is this an indicator that TradPub isn't going anywhere anytime soon, because they have almost seemingly an endless supply of chick lit type of indie authors willing to just write book trope type books, write to market book trope character type books, and because they're gaining cyber fame, the little cutie bops. Little cutie bop writers, I'll dub them at this point. They're little cutie bops. They get a lot of attention. They're cute. They're cute little authors, and write cutie bop books, and real tropey type stuff. And then the trad pubs are like, oh yeah, we got a winner right here. Winner, chicken dinner. We'll scoop this one up real quick, fast, in a hurry. We'll toss her 5 figs. She'll jump at the chance. And then we'll ride off her little cyber fame. She'll do all the marketing for us, type of deal. I don't know. I feel like sometimes you can't count your chickens. No, definitely not counting your chickens before they hatch, sometimes you don't know you have a good thing until it's gone. All I would say to those indie writers is, if a TradPub company is, if you are being approached by a traditional publisher, in other words, you are being effectively cold called by a traditional publisher, or even if you've sent out queries before and they're just now getting around to you, but realize that you have social media fame, maybe maybe you might think twice about signing on that dotted line, and doing like a 2 or 3 book deal with a traditional publisher, because what I would say the takeaway from that would be that maybe they see potential in you, at least marketing potential. Okay. So before you go, signing away your rights or your royalties away effectively on a piece of work, maybe you could think about building your own brand as far as that goes, and you might be better off in the long run. But, I'm not giving you business advice either. Hey, Rainer, you made it, man. All right. Awesome. Now it's Patty. Actually getting ready to wrap up. This is going to be a short one this week. We didn't have any videos. Yeah, I'm done. I'm done with the hot topic, but first, we'll see what Herman has to say real quick. If I got a call from a trad pub, which ain't going to happen, there would be serious stipulations prior to me signing on the dotted line. I mean, it's just practicing caution, I suppose, because I feel like, I can only explain my take. Oh, that's fine, Rainer. I can only explain where my thought process is at, and what I would be thinking if that were to happen, because money's not an issue. Yes, if it's like a 6-figure deal, that's quite a chunk of change. If it's a 6-figure deal, but I heard that's even from people who are like hardcore querying these traditional publishers, I heard 6-figure deals are rare in this day and age. Like, you really would have to be like, it's at the point where like you have to be bringing something to the table to sweeten the deal. That's where we're at this point, where it's like you almost have to convince them of your value. It's not just about merit anymore, which is also something that I want to talk about. Maybe I might pitch a brand new hot topic that is based on merit-based writing. But again, that's just throwing it out to the wind. But where I'm coming from is like, if I were approached by like a traditional publisher, again, I'm with you on that one. Probably not going to happen. Probably because I don't send out query letters. But just saying, if I were in that position, it's just a little 5-figure deal and they want me to sign on the dotted line, the first thing that would come to my mind is, especially in this day and age, now that we have all these resources available to us and publicity is based on effort. You can be your own publicist, okay? And there's other people out here in the scene who are willing to shine a light on people's work, do interviews. You can schedule your own interviews. You can get your own spots on podcasts and whatnot. Okay. You don't need a publicist. You don't need middlemen. You don't need agents like authors used to back in the day. So what I'm getting at is, the first thing that would come to my mind is they must see some sort of potential here on their end. And what do they know that maybe I don't know? So that would be first and foremost. But I've also touched upon the idea of like, okay, if you're going to sign a contract, a lot of people are just gung-ho about signing with a trad pub that they don't read the fine print, for one, and they don't do any negotiations. Negotiations should be an automatic for any business deal that involves a contract. It should be automatic. There's a process to it. It doesn't go, someone offers you a contract, you sign dotted line, or someone offers you a contract, you read through the contract, or you hire a lawyer to read through the contract. You reflect upon the contract, what you like about it, what you don't like about it, and then what kind of clauses are involved, yada, yada, yada. But then you turn around and say, okay, what do I want out of this deal? Are they giving me everything I want out of this deal? Can they offer something? Can they open up? Is there an opportunity for them to open up other doors for me in some shape, fashion, or form? Or is this literally just they're going to publish a book or a few books and that's it? And that's me working for them to put together these books, and then hopefully they'll do the marketing, the advertising, and whatnot. The actual publishing, getting it in stores, yada, yada, yada. That's just marketing, advertising, and distribution. There's more to it than that. What about movie deals? What about a network series? Like I've said before, if it's a trad pub, especially like one of the big 5 trad pubs, you know damn well that they rub elbows with people who are in those networks. I want in on that action if I were to be offered a contract. Now, full disclosure, I'm not actually pursuing any kind of traditional publishing deal, but I'm just saying, if I was somebody that were in those shoes, these are the things that I'd be thinking about. And I don't think that a lot of people do think about that stuff. They just think about the prestige. They want the prestige, which I will admit, yes, there is some prestige with being published by one of the big 5. But prestige is not everything, though. Okay, well, there's a lot. Right now, you can build up your own name. I'd say if you have time is the biggest factor. But if you have time on your hands, you can be proactive in building up your own name. And I've seen firsthand some of the things that are happening for people who have taken the time to build up their own name within the indie scene. Was mentioned earlier, Anvil Magazine. Anvil Magazine was launched and was funded within less than 24 hours. And now it's been funded like 3 times over. You know, and this is I interviewed the editor of the magazine, Richard, just a couple weeks back. And this is the Iron Age Media. He runs the ironage.media site. And he just started last year. It was around October. He launched the ironage.media. And then in recent news, within the Iron Age, is a YouTube content creator by the name that goes by the moniker of Razor Fist, just launched his Indiegogo campaign for his graphic novel. He has a graphic novel that just launched on Indiegogo, and that thing has already been financed 3 times over, met the goal 3 times over. And the initial goal was set at $50K. So an independent artist raised over 6 figures in less than 24 hours for an independent piece of work. That is amazing to me, through a crowdfunding source. So what do you need TradPub for? You know what I mean? That's the question I have. So it's interesting to see like how these different ways that TradPub is still kind of angling the scene in order to kind of like stay relevant. And I think that that's one of those ways where they're basically, what TradPub is doing is just kind of sitting on the sidelines, waiting for people who have taken the time, energy, and effort through blood, sweat, and tears to build a name for themselves through social media networks and whatnot, and putting their own work out there and building a name for themselves, building a brand for themselves, and waiting for those people to build up their own cyber fame, okay? And then they come a knocking and they say, hey, how would you like to make a deal with us? You know? And I feel like that's their new strategy. It's like, Where are you going to be if they come knocking? You willing to make a deal with the devil? So I'll be happy to hear what you guys have to say about it. Like I say, you can leave your comments, leave your thoughts down below, or create your own video. If you tag me in it, or share the link with me, then I'll address it during a future live stream. Now, on this topic of is traditional publishing obsolete, we've talked about prestige. Yeah, we've talked about prestige. And Herman says, the best prestige is book sales. Is that top prestige for you? I mean, the numbers don't lie. The numbers don't lie. I'll give you that much. For sure. Anyway, we're talking about maybe not just sales, but like I say, with the crowdfunding, those don't lie, those campaigns, because it's not just, and I say it's not just the dollar amount either, because you can see, like with Indiegogo, it also shows you the number of backers, which I think that number is the most significant one. The number of people that are showing up, showing out, and showing their support, putting their money where their mouth is. That's what I like to see. And you can't hide that fact. When people are showing up in droves by the hundreds, to support an independent creator, that's huge. Or as Donald Trump would say, that's huge. Okay? That's huge. It's going to be huge. Rainer Chen says, TradPub is basically rights for reach. But right now, it's more like rights and reach with shitty editorializing. Rights for reach. Yeah. I mean, that's what I would expect, you know? And I would hope that anybody else who's going to do a TradPub deal, thanks for that comment, by the way. Anybody else who's going to do a TradPub deal, that should be like the bare minimum. That should be the bare minimum of what you would expect from a TradPub deal, is that you're going to get some marketing. You're going to have people in your corner vouching for you, talking about your work. All these channels that they should have set up in their marketing and sales departments, writing, editorializing, getting reviews and shit in newspapers, periodicals. That should be standard practice for a publishing house. Standard practice. And I'm not just talking TradPub, even with these independent publishers. That should be standard practice. As I say, starting a publishing house is no small feat. Like, you would have to have your own magazine or periodical for marketing purposes, or have connections to several, which I think is something that indies can do amongst each other. You don't need to have TradPub to do that. You could get reviews. You could submit reviews and stuff like that to independent publishers and get it. And that's why I was excited for this idea of this Anvil magazine. I mean, that's just one, but there's other blogs and stuff. There's bloggers out there and stuff like that as well that will accept submissions. Okay. So it's just really just figuring out, like, there's no need for the gatekeepers when there's people who are out here willing to collaborate, willing to work together. The old adage is work smarter, not harder. So you could wear all the hats, and a lot of us indies do wear multiple hats. It's fucking exhausting sometimes. But that's why I think that, you know, maybe we should start getting a little bit more comfortable about leaning on each other a little bit, you know, or at least taking advantage of opportunities that are extending all the branches that creators extend to one another, and just a little bit of effort can go a long way in that way, I think. Maybe you guys think differently, Skunks wants to say, highest prestige is people in love with your characters. We were talking about the culture. Okay. So people leaving reviews on other people's work is like, I think that, if we're going to turn this thing into a culture, getting it so people can kind of see the forest for the trees and want to get involved in this activity that is the indie scene, which is community-based. It's community-based activity. I think that people will have to see each other talking about, people will have to start seeing people talking about the works that are coming out of the indie scene, not just selling them, not just trying to sell people on them, not just advertising to potential customers, but actual readers coming out of the woodwork and talking about these projects, actually digging into the material and saying things about them. That needs to become a part of the scene, a big part of the scene, in order for it to actually become a culture. It can't just be a huge swath of just creators just trying to sell their product to customers, because that's not a culture, because that's just TradPub. TradPub's already has a foothold in the market, so they can get away with that stuff. TradPub's just, they got all their channels and stuff. New York Times bestseller list. Could be just a bunch of bullshit, but it doesn't matter. That's all they have to just focus on is the marketing. Is just the marketing and advertising aspects of it. It's like as if they don't even try anymore. Again, like I said, they wait for people to have cyber fame, which means you're putting in all the work to build a name for yourself. Then they just come in after the fact and try to scoop you up for pennies on the dollar as far as their bank accounts are concerned. Herman chimes in. This is a good one. Herman chimes in. He says, people place too much emphasis on TradPub and awards. The fact is, if I could sell 1 million books without a big publisher or a string of awards, I'd do that in a heartbeat. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the awards for indie, it's almost none. There are some out there. I know there's like a Splatterpunk Awards thing that hasn't been around for very long, which somebody hosts. You can question the legitimacy of it and this and that. But I feel like, I feel like the whole like awards thing, really what it is, aside from kind of being like a lip service type of thing, it creates these events. It creates an excuse for there to be events for people to attend and get involved in, which I think is a positive thing if we're talking in terms of building culture. Now, does the award mean anything from the author standpoint? Well, I guess it depends who's running the award show. Who's running the award. The legitimacy of it certainly could be in question because a lot of it could be opinion-based. It depends on the reputation of the people who are running that program as well. But I'll be honest with you, I would like to see, maybe some, as more names are built within the scene and they gain some legitimacy that was built upon trust. The legitimacy itself, not because of their big name, popular in the mainstream, but because they have built a name for themselves that was built upon trust. They've had consistency. They've delivered time and time and time again. They never wrote checks their ass couldn't cash. those types of folks. And then they start presenting these types of events. I think that would be good for the culture as a whole. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking from the reader, maybe the reader's standpoint, because if the readers are seeing this, seeing these types of events, and they can get involved in these types of events, and they can vote for the different nominees and this and that, maybe that might be a fun thing to do for them. Now, from the author standpoint, is it going to get you more sales? Maybe not. Does it mean anything in terms of prestige? If it's underground and it's obscure, probably, slapping it on your book cover isn't going to make a huge difference. It's not like saying you have a Bram Stoker award, but it could be something that is fun. It could be something that is fun. But but most definitely in terms of sales, yeah. I mean, if you can sell on your own, why not just do the work? Why would you want to why share that pie with a corporation at that point? The more of the pie that you can keep for yourself is more that you can then turn around and invest in other endeavors that may not only appreciate future works of your own, but also put back into the indie scene itself in some shape, fashion, or form. Whereas the corporation, who knows what the hell they're going to do with it? Who knows what the corporations are doing with all that revenue? Hoarding it, sitting on it. How many trad pub companies, or how many of these corporations out here do you see contributing to crowdfunding campaigns? Do they even have an account that is for that purpose? Are they coming out here and writing 5-figure, 6-figure checks for independent authors, independent creators who have, crowdfunding type campaigns or anything like that? Hell no. They ain't doing that shit. Screw corporations as far as that goes. Herman chimes in one more time. He says, while writing is an art, it's also a business. And sales is the end goal of anyone publishing. I wouldn't say anyone. I wouldn't say everyone. I mean, if people have to pay for it, then yeah, that's the price to entry. Certainly, I'll give you that much. It's certainly the price to entry. But I would say, as far as my own work goes, at $2 a pop in terms of royalties per sale, it's not something I lose sleep over. I'll just put it like that. All right, guys, that's the hot topic. Now let me get into. I shouldn't have closed my freaking browser. I do have a comment to get to. Let's get to the wrap up. Before we get to the wrap up, let's get some theme music to close out the show tonight. A little bit of theme music. How about the Underdogs just won the big game? There it is. Just won the big game, baby. All right, just a quick comment to address here. And this is coming from somebody who is not a stranger to the channel and is also somebody who I like to tune into his live streams from time to time. That is Hobo Sermons. That's right. Hobo Sermons stopping by the channel. He says, digging the outro music and keep up the good work. I appreciate the words of encouragement, sir. Hobo Sermons, if you guys aren't familiar, he runs he does live streams every Thursday and Friday on his YouTube channel, and he does live acoustic guitar. And on Thursdays he does original songs, and on Fridays he does cover music. Good stuff. Good stuff. He does. I really like. Me personally, I like his original stuff. I've tuned in on a few of his streams now on Thursdays, and I'm digging it. He's got an album coming up pretty soon that he's going to be releasing. I want to say if he catches it, if you catch this, maybe you can correct me, but I want to say that it's Songs for the Apocalypse or something like that is the name of the album. But I dig it. Yes, you're familiar. Good stuff. Good stuff. I like his work. Well, that's it. That's it for the show this week, ladies and gentlemen. I kind of extended it out a little bit there, going off of my tangents, but I hope y'all had some fun, and I hope y'all discovered something new. But don't fret, because guess what? I'm going to be back here for you next week. Same time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's 6 p.m. Pacific. Have a good week.